All right, high and low pressure. First thing to start off with is just remember the little phrase, high is happy. We see our happy little stump there. It's nice weather, no clouds, and low is lousy. And we see the unhappy or the lousy little raindrop over there. If you can think of the map of the United States, it kind of explains everything. We have the United States, and up high up here is Canada. So I'm going to put an H up there. And down below us, down low, is the Gulf of Mexico. Down here in the Gulf of Mexico, it's warm down here, and it's cold up in Canada. All right. Also down in the Gulf of Mexico, because this is water down here, it's also very wet weather. We're up here in Canada. It's over top of land, and so it's very dry. In fact, there's a drink called Canada Dry, ginger ale. And if you can just remember that, high is happy and low is lousy. And then this map where the low is down here where it's wet and warm, and the high is up here where it's cooler and dry. That explains pretty much all of weather. When they come in, this high pressure, now a weather mass will take on the characteristics of whatever it's sitting over top of. And so if it's sitting over here, the Gulf of Mexico, it gets very wet and gets very warm, and then it will start to move. And as it moves into the United States, this will form what's called a warm front, because remember, low pressure is warm. All right, it's also very wet weather, so warm fronts start to move through. And then up here, as the high starts to come through, well, let me change my color here. We're going to make that blue. This forms a cold front because it's cool weather as it comes through. All right, so high and low pressure. The other thing to remember is when they run into each other, well, hot air always rises, and so the low pressure is going to be the one that rises. If you ever have, and that's warmer air, and it's rising, it's taking all that moisture with it, and when it rises, well, we all remember the water cycle. We have evaporation, and then when it rises up, you form condensation, then precipitation. The water cycle, that's the low pressure one right there, because you get rising air, because hot air is the only one that rises, and then cold air is sinking. Well, you don't have any of that precipitation. First off, it's dry to begin with, high pressure is. Second thing, you can't evaporate anything up here when that air is sinking down. So hot air rises, cold air sinks, and it's that hot air, when you got evaporation down here on the ground, as it rises, it condenses and forms precipitation. And that's what we mean by lousy weather. If you have low pressure coming into your area, you can expect to have rain coming in, because that wet, warm air is going to rise up, and then you're going to get precipitation when it, just like the water cycle, where you get rising air, it condenses, and then you get precipitation.